Good evening. Welcome to the Springer New Family Orientation. I am Denise Khaled. I am the school principal, and I'm just very happy that you have joined me this evening for this event. I know that we would have preferred to be in our wonderful multi-purpose room live at Springer, but I am grateful that you have joined me this evening. I am at home, and I am going to let you know that I do have some assistants this evening helping behind the scenes. My two daughters, you may hear their voices. They're going to help me with just navigating this wonderful webinar and helping with the question and answer portion at the end. Like all of you, Wi-Fi sometimes in my home can be a little choppy. So if something happens, just hold tight and we will reboot and get started. I have some wonderful guests joining me this evening, and so they'll be coming in during the presentation to help explain more about Springer. Let me get my screen sharing here going and have you be able to see more about our school. So like I said, welcome to the Kindergarten and New Family Information Night. Tonight, we're going to be going over some wonderful components of our school, our educational approach and the curriculum and programs, a little bit more about Springer Elementary. You're going to meet our wonderful TK and kindergarten teachers this evening, also some wonderful parents and my dynamic students. There will be a question and answer portion at the end. I have been at Springer. I'm celebrating almost 1 year at Springer. I have been an administrator for a long time. I was a classroom teacher as well. And I came to Springer last year. My first day was almost 1 year ago today. I hosted the last year's New Family Orientation, and I specifically chose Los Altos School District and Springer Elementary. I did a lot of research. I wanted to go to a school and a district that was providing children with a dynamic educational experience. I absolutely love our language arts program, and I'm so happy that we recently adopted a math curriculum that really touches on the mathematical practices. I also am so grateful that our district is committed to supporting students socially and emotionally. So I am just like you. I'm so happy that I am able to work in the Los Altos School District, and I think that you will be very pleased as well to send your children to Springer. I feel very, very honored to work with a dynamic and dedicated teaching staff. They are amazing. Such wonderful, caring teachers. They work so hard day and night to provide a wonderful learning environment for their students. And from the moment I came to Springer, both the teachers and staff and the parents have welcomed me. It is truly a community-based school. The entire neighborhood is supportive. I often am out on the yard and after school, and there's community members, and everyone just loves being at Springer. It has a wonderful feel to it, and I hope that you will just enjoy the experience like I have. I wanted to let you know that tomorrow, Friday, I would love for you to come to Springer between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and we would like to give you a yard sign that says that you are a Springer family. So you can hang that in your front yard. So come by on Friday between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. You can just come through the loop and we will give you a yard sign because we want to welcome you to the Springer community. Los Altos and Springer are very committed to supporting students academically and socially. And we have a focus called Portrait of a Learner. And these 6 areas are kind of the cornerstone of our work. And so when we think about supporting children in their communication, this is where they are learning how to share information and ideas with confidence, collaboration, working together to achieve a common goal, critical thinking, analyzing ideas, data, evidence, and objects to solve problems. Creativity, develop ideas, connections, and solutions to create something new. Citizenship, give back to and help shape school communities. And character, trustworthiness, responsibility, respect, caring, empathy, and fairness. We have a very strong focus on touching on all of these areas throughout this school day. And so lessons will contain one or multiple of these particular sections of learning for our children. So we are very innovative and creative in how we support students in their learning. Thinking about a student-centered approach. This is who we are as a district and as a school. We want to empower our students to explore their interest. The classroom environment, we want to inspire a love of learning and have them want to continue that forever. Like I mentioned before, the 6 C's are embedded in our curriculum. And our entire district, our TK through 8th grade, is continuing to provide a wonderful foundation for children so they're ready for high school. And like I mentioned before, Springer is so much rooted in our community. We are a neighborhood school, and we do our best to support each and every student and family. As we delve into this more, I would like to introduce our wonderful TK teacher. Mrs. Jaffe, would you like to say a few words about working at Springer?
Hi, everyone. I really love what I do at Springer. I love the children. They walk in the door, very unique individuals, each of them, and they're eager, capable, imaginative, and absolutely adorable. And they make me smile every single day. I also love working with a staff that is hardworking and very supportive of each other. We also have great partnerships between the staff and the parents, and we have a knowledgeable and generous community. They offer their time, their expertise. We have docents that come in the classroom, and the donations to help purchase supplies, programs like art, music, dance, PE, gardening, library assistance, and right now we're really enjoying a small class size. I love being at Springer, and I really enjoy working with everyone there.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Jaffe. Mrs. Lammy, would you like to say a few words? Mrs. Lammy is one of our kindergarten teachers.
Good evening. I have been teaching at Springer for about 18 years now. And so there are more than just a few things that I love about being a teacher at Springer. But most of all, I just love that we work as a community. We work together with the parents and with the teachers to plan together. As teachers, we create together. We work together to support students and each other. And especially this year, when most things haven't looked like a typical school year, we've really pulled together to continue teaching in new ways and building community, whether it's over a computer screen or in person. Not only am I a teacher at Springer, but I'm also a parent of a 3rd and 6th grader. So I have been in your shoes just a few short years ago. And now that I have a child ending his Springer career as a 6th grader, don't make me cry. I'm reflecting on tonight just a little differently. And it's amazing to see the growth in your child, not only in kindergarten, but throughout the years that they develop as learners and grow socially and emotionally. And you will find that you're learning and growing right along with them. And along the way, you have the support and friendship from other parents, as well as all the teachers. And when I asked my boys to share with me what they love most about Springer, so I could tell you, they said everything. And I was really hoping I could get them to narrow it down, but they wouldn't budge on that one. So my hope for you is that when you ask your children what they love about Springer one day, that they will say everything.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lammy. Ms. Cox is also our kindergarten teacher. Would you like to say a few words about working at Springer?
Thank you. I would love to. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to see you all. Unlike Mrs. Lammy, this is my first year at Springer, but I have never felt more welcome by a school community and staff, and I feel really honored and excited to be working with Mrs. Khaled and Mrs. Lammy and the rest of our staff because they are incredibly supportive. And I feel like I'm just echoing everything that Mrs. Lammy and Mrs. Jaffe have been saying. I have also found that our staff as well as our student body are incredibly empathetic. And I love seeing, especially in kindergarten, that helping hand that students extend to one another, even in times like this when we are supposed to be, kind of keeping our distance, they still find ways to support each other and to build friendships. And that is such an incredible thing to see, especially in a 5-year-old. And I am feeling very grateful to be a part of that journey that they have. And I'd also like to echo another thing that Mrs. Lammy said, which is that our staff has been so incredibly adaptable, not only in these times that I've seen during the pandemic, but just in every aspect of their teaching and what they're doing, which inspires me and also gives me some really great ideas for what I'm doing with my students. So I am so excited to be here at Springer, and I really look forward to many more years here. And I'm actually a Los Altos district graduate. So I guess I'm back for more. I couldn't get enough of this district. And I'm just really excited to be here. And I wish I could see you all, and potentially I will meet you one day. But I really look forward to having you as part of our family here at Springer.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cox and my teachers for speaking so highly. Just going to go back to our presentation for a moment. And so when we think about a student-centered approach, these are our key aspects of that, which individualized instruction. This is where our experienced teachers, classroom aides, and subject specialists work one-on-one with students to improve understanding or provide additional challenges so each child excels. Our teachers know that utilizing varying teaching methods will inspire our students to become engaged learners, empowered to challenge themselves and explore their interests. Hands-on learning is when students learn by doing through projects or lessons that mimic real-world scenarios, including task simulations, role-playing, or problem-solving exercises. Project-based learning. This is an instructional method to help students understand how to collaboratively identify problems, research information, and present findings and solutions. Social and emotional development. Students learn to understand and manage their emotions, achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships with peers and adults, and make responsible decisions. Collaborative learning. This is when students work in well-structured teams that promote collaboration, leadership, and other life and career skills while enhancing student academic performance. Another aspect of our student-centered approach is inquiry-based learning. This is when learning that emphasizes questioning, data analysis, and critical thinking. I'd like to take a moment to now hear from our students. Give me 1 second to stop the sharing. Noah, would you like to share a little bit about Springer and your experiences and the programs that we have?
Yes, thank you. I love Springer, going to Springer every morning on the computer or in person. All the staff and teachers are always really nice and helpful. If you have a problem, there's always some way to do it, go around it or fix it or whatever it goes to. Some things I loved about doing in kindergarten were being able to make new friends. I feel friends I made since kindergarten I've stayed in touch with. And also in your classes, being with buddies and getting to know like older kids and having that like bond with not just like your grade people. And then things I love about PE, Mr. Heeb is always like really nice and always wanting to make you better at your physical education, even though if he pushes you, your running is not for punishment, it's for exercise. Something we hear all the time when we're saying we don't want to run, but we always don't get around. He is always upbeat and always trying to make us do our best. Field trips, you get to go on many different field trips. Many of the field trips have changed since I went, but when I was in kindergarten, one of the most enjoyable one was when you go to the pumpkin patch, I think it is, and at the farm and you get to get a pumpkin. I remember that was like, when I got a pumpkin, I was freaking out. Everyone like, take care of it, like put it with their seatbelt. And it's very funny. And I hope you come to spring.
Thank you so much, Noah. Noah, can I also ask you to speak a little bit about being a student ambassador?
Yes, a student ambassador is basically a student in leadership. So it's very fun because last year we worked with a We organization. It's an organization that raises money, and we walk for water. It's basically to raise money and walk around our school campus to know what it's like for people that live in Africa to deal with all of that. We love some of the most awesome things about student ambassadors is like being a mentor, going and helping everyone and going to see the younger kids, making games and like doing food drives. Food drives was really fun. You get to go and get a lot of food and help everyone in our community.
Thank you so much, Noah. Frankie, would you like to share a little about what you love about Springer?
Yes, thank you. Good evening. My name is Frankie Jones, and I am a 6th grade student ambassador here at Springer School. Ambassadors help run morning assemblies and fundraisers here at Springer. When I think about Springer School, the first words that pop into my head are kindness towards others, loving teachers, and a caring community. Springer students are taught at a young age to be kind to everyone and treat others the way you would want to be treated. We support and cheer others on, whether it be the Walk-A-Thon or a class project. The teachers here are the best teachers around with their caring hearts and depths of knowledge. Through my years at Springer, I've never encountered an unpleasant teacher. Every teacher here at Springer has always been kind, caring, and supportive of their students. This is my 7th year at Springer, and I still remember nervously walking into kindergarten and hoping to make a friend. But I did more than that, as I sang in a music performance, had a Thanksgiving feast, and some dance recitals, and I did much, much more after that. My favorite part of kindergarten, besides my loving teacher, Mrs. Morris, was my buddy. School buddies are when older grade students are paired with younger grade students, and they get to do art projects, carve pumpkins, read books, and make projects to donate during Springer Gives Back. My buddy became a special friend that watched over me at the Halloween parade and later on the Big Kid Playground. Springer has always been a caring community to me because of Project Cornerstone. Project Cornerstone teaches us students, young and old, to be upstanders, bucket fillers, and leaders. Project Cornerstone works by having one parent come in each month and read their class a book, either about upstanding, being yourself, or being a bucket filler. After the book is read aloud to the class, the parent has an activity planned out to complete based off the story. Some projects I have consisted of are charts that we fill out based on our life experiences and how they are similar to the book. I have also done art projects like making little fuzzies to remind me to be a bucket filler. Project Cornerstone has always been a role model for me and has inspired me to do good all around Springer and my community. Another event we have here at Springer is the father-daughter dance, where all girls students of Springer bring their father over to the multi-purpose room, where they will be able to dance to songs, take funny pictures, have snacks, and hang out with friends. It's a night to remember with the dancing families and love in the air. Another event that I may have already mentioned is the Walk-A-Thon, where all students get to participate in running or walking, winning medals, and having a good time with friends. The Walk-A-Thon has happened during October with the perfect skies for running and hanging out. My experiences at the Walk-A-Thon have been marvelous, beginning with my friends as we run and talk, then moving on to a quick stop at a pocket person who is selling candy and trinkets around the track. If you ever get hungry, there are food trucks where you could get a quick bite to eat. Or if you are in the mood for a baked good, you can head over to the lunch tables and get a brownie or cookie, maybe even a snow cone, while raising money for Springer. At the end of the Walk-A-Thon, you can head over to the card tables where you can get a gold, silver, or bronze medal, depending on how many laps you've ran and what grade you're in. The Springer Walk-A-Thon is always an event to look forward to. So as you can tell, from walk-a-thons to school buddies and Project Cornerstone to the father-daughter dance, Springer School has it all. In my eyes as a student, Springer is a fun, loving community that is always there for one another.
We can just take a moment to give a big round of applause to our students. They have done a fantastic job tonight. Thank you. I think I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. Thank you. You guys were fabulous. Thank you, Frankie and Noah. That was wonderful. I'd like to just go back and share a little bit more about some of the programs that we have here at Springer. Like we have mentioned, we have a fantastic STEM program as well. And this is a district-wide program that has been developed and integrated into the classrooms for all students at all grade levels, where we're teaching science, technology, engineering, and math through creativity, collaboration, and computer science. In addition to integrated classroom instruction, our school has a STEM Maker Lab for project-based, hands-on, and collaborative learning. Computer science. This is an innovative program that is integrated into the K-8 curriculum, teaching all students to code and become creators, not just consumers of learning and technology. Living Classroom. This is a wonderful program. Our Springer Garden is beautiful, and it is utilized through the Living Classroom program, where it teaches students about growing plants and making food, and it's a very engaging hands-on program that students participate in. We also have an art docent program that includes music and performing arts, and it is a very comprehensive art instruction that teaches appreciation and participation. And like I mentioned before, something that truly drew me to the Los Altos School District in Springer was the use of the Reading and Writing Project. This is a wonderful curriculum that teaches our students literacy and writing skills. All students benefit from this innovative teaching methodology that allows students to explore their interests, to become avid and skilled readers, writers, as well as it partners with, this program partners with the Teachers College. And so we are often participating in professional development and continuing to hone our skills as educators. Also, Springer has a wide variety of after-school enrichment programs for you as well. Some of them are academic based and some are just there for pure fun and enjoyment, like sports or chess. So please look at our Springer website for more information on our wonderful after school activities. I'd like to take a moment now, going to show a quick video here. So I'm just going to change my screen here to talk a little bit more about our teaching staff. I could spend all night bragging about the Springer teachers. They are absolutely wonderful, so kind, so dedicated, always pushing themselves to grow professionally, and they give so much time and love to their students and families. So just gonna share a little video with you about the wonderful teaching staff.
What else could you do to figure it out?
Every single teacher I had, I love them so much.
I love vowel power.
Let's fix up our vowel power. Bug, check to make sure you have a lowercase b, u, and g. Okay, It's really important to have great teachers in good schools, teams that share a philosophy and really come together with student learning as a focus and a goal.
Instruction is of extremely high quality here. Our teachers do such a good job teaching students because they know students. When we think about personalized learning, you can't personalize learning for kids unless you know them.
You have to find this one first.
By looking at the individual needs and looking at ways that children can collaborate and work together, it is beyond what you might see in a scripted kind of curriculum, which is a much more traditional type of approach.
If you come into our classrooms, kids will be working with their peers, especially in higher level learning like critical thinking and working cooperatively with each other, because those skills are very important for our children to learn, not only just academics and the skills, but also how to use them and how to relate to people and how to be able to solve problems using the skills and knowledge that they have.
Save the sword.
Teaching and learning for us is always responsive, making sure that who's in front of me is helping inform my instruction. Learning exists beyond that comfort zone, and our teachers are experts at being able to do that.
You want to pause again before that and split there too.
Relationships are the key to pretty much everything in Los Altos. We value relationships with our teachers, with our staffs, with our students, and we know that if we hire teachers who believe equally in that relationship piece, they're going to be successful.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to go back to my original presentation. Hold on. There we go. So as we think about student achievement, as you saw in the video, our wonderful teaching staff and students do a wonderful job each day. And as we look at the statewide standardized testing, this is only one measure of a student and school success, but we are very proud of our students and their performance. All of our schools are performing very top in our state, and our teachers regularly assess students as well on their understanding of key concepts, providing whatever assistance is needed for those who need extra help, and also challenging those children who are ready to be pushed ahead. So we are always about continuing improvement. And so now I would like to take a moment and I'm going to welcome some of our community members, our wonderful parent community. Brandon is our wonderful PTA president. Would you like to say a few words about Springer?
Sure, thanks, Denise. I'm Brandon Stroy. I have two girls currently at Springer, a 5th grader and a 2nd grader, both of whom have been there all the way since kindergarten, one of whom was taught by Ms. Lammy here. Yeah, first just on Springer, you know, I, like Ms. Cox, I grew up in the district and went through our local schools, and you know, I've been really impressed with you know, the improvements that I think the whole district has seen since the time that I was a student here. Facilities, curriculum, everything is really top notch. And on a similar note, you know, one of the things kind of growing up in this district that I came to know and realize is that you know, community is a really important thing here. I still have friends from elementary school. I saw one of them last week. And I think all of our students at Springer and, you know, district-wide now are all going to have friends, lifelong friends from their time here at Springer. And so it's really a community-focused district and school. And that's really one of the things that we try to focus on a lot in the PTA, is to try to build the community and make it easy for people to forge those kinds of relationships. Springer in particular is a very social place. It, I think, has the smallest neighborhood footprint of all the schools in the district, and so people tend to live very close to each other and know each other even outside of school. And so then when they get to campus, it's just a natural extension of their neighborhood. We have a lot of on-campus impromptu meetings with parents. Not this year, obviously, but in general, every morning, well after the bell rings, there's parents lingering in the parking lot, talking, meeting each other, and just sort of building their whole community. To follow up on a couple things that our students said, one of the things that I really thought was valuable about the early curriculum at Springer was that buddy system that both Noah and Frankie mentioned. I know both of my girls were so excited to have, I think it's the third grade buddy when they first start kindergarten, who could sort of take them on to the upper campus and walk them through some of the things they'd be doing. And they were so impressed that there was this big kid who wanted to be their friend, and gave them so many nice gifts and crafts and helped them read and do all those kinds of things. Really a great program we have at Springer. Just another word on PTA, as I'm sure you've heard a lot about funding, not just funding at the state level and local level, not just here in our district, but California-wide, is not sufficient to meet the needs of our students. That means that the PTA and, in our case, the foundation, LAEF, are really important to sort of fill the gap and make sure that the students have all the resources they need to get the education that we want. PTA works nonstop at trying to make that happen, both through supporting our teachers with their needs, students with their needs, and we work really closely with really all this staff, administration, and other schools to make sure that happens. So we always love new members. We're really excited to have you all join us. Definitely really excited to get new opinions and new thoughts about school and about learning in our community and on the PTA. So when you arrive, please look us up and we'll be ready to welcome you. And just another reminder about the sign pickup tomorrow. I will be there with Principal Khaled to pass those signs out. So I'll see you then.
Thank you, Brandon. Kimmy, would you like to say a few words about being a parent at Springer?
Absolutely. I'm a parent of a first grader and a third grader. I'm a Springer alumni, and I love LASD so much. I also work for LASD now over at Gardner Bullis. So I can only say wonderful things about not only Springer, but just the district support as a whole. I enjoyed Springer. It was a good school when I was a kid, but now it is an amazing, wonderful, and warm community. One of the things that wasn't touched on in any of the presentations that actually my child especially loved was that they were celebrated for being readers and writers. So time is taken throughout the year to make a big deal that in kindergarten they're learning to read, and this is so worth celebrating and sharing. So they share their writing and they're publishing books throughout the year to show that they are just as important and just learning just as much as the older kids. And I think that really motivates them and really makes them feel accomplished, that our little kids don't feel like they're only doing busy work. They know that they're doing really important work and that they are learning and feeling successful. I think that is just one of the best things that we do. And then for PTA, we have a whole bunch of events throughout the year. We kick off the year with Pop and Stop, which is when you come to campus right before school starts and you get a popsicle and you go and check out your classroom list, meet up with your friends, get excited about who's going to be in your class that year. We go to the Walk-A-Thon in October. Frankie did a way better job explaining the Walk-A-Thon than I will, but it is our biggest kid-centered fundraiser and really long special event. So then twice a year, we have some great parents who do a Scholastic Book Fair. This is really fun for kids and families. We also in December particularly focus on Springer Gives Back, our community, sorry, forgot the word for it. That's basically for our community events that we're helping our community and have our students really feel like they are also giving back to not just Springer, but others. And in March, we have our annual auction. That is our biggest fundraiser for PTA. It's an adult-centered event. It's the only one that's adult-centered. And then also in the springtime, our kids do Junior Olympics, upper grades. This is a big deal. It's been around for 50 years for the whole district. The kids train and they get to learn about the hurdles and realize, and then they all compete friendly in a district-wide event. And then we complete each year with field day. This is on the last Friday of the school year, and it is a super fun day for the kids just to get out, and they go with their classroom around a bunch of different events. So they do scooter races and water fights, and they get to have a snack, and it's just celebrating on a really great year for them and that all their hard work. And so while we have a ton of other events, those are our big, long standing events that we've been doing for many years that students know to look forward to each year.
Thank you so much, Kimmy. Brooke, would you like to say a few words about being a Springer parent?
I would love to. Thank you, Denise. My name is Brooke Lopez, and I have 2 kids at Springer. I don't know how I drew the short straw to go last because everyone else has already said pretty much everything that I would say. I was sitting here taking notes and I'm like, oh, I want to say that. Oh, never mind. Brandon said that. Yeah, and Frankie and Noah could just really school us all on how to do a presentation and teach. So thank you, kids, for helping. I think the only thing that I would really add, I have, like I said, I have 2 kids at Springer. My son's in 4th grade. He was in TK with Mrs. Jaffe. He was in kindergarten with Mrs. Lammy. My daughter was in kindergarten with Mrs. Lammy. So we've been around kindergarten for a while, and we're just kind of hanging in there with kindergarten, and we love it. I say we because I know the kids love it. So to Mrs. Lammy's statement that the kids say they love everything about Springer, I also asked my children today, and that's all I could really get out of them as well. Both my kids are in virtual school this year, which has been a really unique experience. But what it has opened my eyes to is that the community that everyone talked about that we have at Springer, it doesn't stop at Springer. It really is the district as a whole, because my kids are in classrooms, virtual classrooms with kids from all 7 of our elementary schools. And they've become friends with children that go to school at a neighboring elementary school, which is amazing. Like, when do you get to do that as a kindergartner, as a 4th grader? So it's been really interesting to watch how the district has come together. And in the beginning of pandemic, the district said, we have families that are going to be in need and we want to help them. And almost immediately, a district-wide food drive was born, and my kids and I have been volunteering on Wednesdays to distribute that food at a park in Palo Alto, where a lot of our families that are food insecure live. So that's an example of the district coming together, not just our community. But I think the one thing that is my favorite, absolute favorite thing about Springer is something that Brandon touched on. And it's the fact that we are so much a neighborhood fixture, a neighborhood school. I can walk down the street with my kids and count like these people, you know, how many people have up Christmas lights, and my kids know the names of all the neighbors down the street because they're all Springer families. They're not in the same classes with any of them or even in the same grade with any of them. But my kids have a sense of security and safety and community in their neighborhood because of the Springer community. And that's something you can't get unless you're in a neighborhood school. So I think you teachers that are on here, and Denise and you parent people that do all the things. Thank you. And I'm around if anybody has questions. I also sit on a district committee of ambassadors. There's 1 or 2 of us from every school, and our role is to help the district just be better, just find a way to talk about what we do and make sure that the community knows how amazing the district is and how amazing our 7 schools are. So I'm here for questions for any parent who wants to chat about virtual school, about TK, about Kinder, about Springer, about LASD. I'm sure you can ask Denise and she'll give you all my info.
Thank you so much, parents, for helping us out this evening. I appreciate it. Just going to take a moment and go back to our presentation for a second. And so our classroom teachers are going to spend a little bit of time going over the TK and kindergarten program, taking a look. As you will see on the slide, this is a traditional schedule that we would run in a traditional school year. Obviously, things are very different right at the moment, but I did want you to see a traditional start and end time for our school in a traditional year. I will touch on in a little bit more about what we're currently doing and if things were to continue next year. I would love to have Mrs. Jaffe share a little bit about TK, please.
So we have been a standalone program, I think for about 7 years, and I've been at Springer teaching TK for the very beginning, even when we had the blended model of TK and K in the same classroom. So I had the wonderful and unique opportunity to develop the curriculum for our district for TK. And when we began, there are still only 3 TK teachers throughout the district. So that means that children from other schools come to each of the TKs. That's why we have the staggered time, so that parents, if they need to deliver their children at 8:30 to one of the schools, then they can make it in time to one of the TK programs. And TK, why TK? Well, TK it was developed because there needed to be a bridge between the 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds that were in kindergarten and a lot of the skills that they're now expected to do in kindergarten. So that was why TK had passed. And our curriculum is actually a hybrid between preschool and kindergarten. It focuses, however, on the social emotional and being developmentally appropriate for 4-year-olds that are turning 5. So that means they are reaching an age where they're coming away from parallel play to cooperative play, and then trying to learn those skills to play with other boys and girls in the classroom in a way that is not so confrontagious. So there's a lot of time spent on talking about our feelings. First of all, to talk about, we have characters called the Kamochis, and each one kind of has a different personality, but they all have feelings. And then when we identify each feeling, we have those as a kotowaza. So we might talk about happy or sad or kind or proud and what that looks like. And then we practice social skills for joining a group, inviting someone in, how to resolve conflicts, and how to talk to each other in a way that's kind, but also having a chance to do over a situation if there's been a conflict. We also do a careful scaffolding of skills. So we do a lot of art. There's cutting and coloring and pasting and following directions, and also opportunities for social interaction and play. So we'll have different games around the room, and we'll facilitate as the children join and engage with each other. And that really is the most important part of our program, that they have that opportunity to do that. When we've been online, we continue to work on those scaffolding skills and that social interaction by having the children share. It's a program that I've really enjoyed, and I've enjoyed not only developing it, but seeing the children grow each year. And if right now there's a program on Apple TV called Becoming You. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it because it really focuses on that change that happens between 4 and 5 years old. And it says it much better with pictures and children than I ever could. But TK is an important age and this period of time for them, and I really enjoy it. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Jaffe. Mrs. Lammy, would you like to say a few words about kindergarten?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Cox and I would really like to talk specifically about our rich curriculum areas. So I wanted to start off with talking about literacy and English language arts. And when students enter kindergarten, they bring with them a range of knowledge from students who are understanding beginning sounds to students who are already reading and writing conventionally. And what we love about teaching the units of study is that within days, the students come to regard themselves as readers and writers. First, through reading pictures of favorite storybooks and drawing their own pictures to represent stories that they have to tell, to later in the year when they're reading pages with several lines of text or beginning chapter books, and writing how-to books as experts on things like giving your puppy a bath or how to make pancakes with dad. Actually, I think that might have been Brandon's daughter who wrote that book. And they're really excited about being able to be readers and writers. And the reading and writing program really complements itself with the phonics program. And they each build on each other to build those critical literacy skills, along with building confidence that is really the foundation of their educational experience. And as Kimmy touched on, they get to celebrate along the way, which just adds to their motivation and continues to build their confidence. Ms. Cox is going to talk a little bit more about our math, science, and social studies curriculum.
Thank you, Mrs. Lammy. So I'd love to start off with math. This year, as Principal Khaled mentioned, we are starting to use the San Francisco Unified School District math curriculum. And this is actually one that I studied in school, and I love it a lot because it has some really important components that really help build mathematical reasoning skills and also that number sense that children need moving through their years of math after kindergarten. We really engage in math talks, which is a really fun way to promote the academic discussion of math and help kids start to talk about numbers in a way that I certainly didn't as a child going through a math program. We also really focus on integrating literacy with our math. We do a lot of books, there are sometimes songs, and it's really about creating little mathematicians who are able to look at the world and look at problems and start to use their mathematical reasoning to solve those problems themselves and become more independent thinkers and learners in the process. That segues right into the approach we take in science, which is also one of exploration and really getting kids to ask those questions and wondering and asking why, which I'm sure you have no trouble with in your household. Children around this age are so curious about the world around them, and that is something that we try to foster here at Springer in our program. And I would say that the three areas we kind of focus on are weather and plants, animals, and then force and motion. So it's really a wide breadth of subject matter that we focus on during science. And going back to math, you start off gaining a better number sense. We look at shapes, 2D and 3D, and then we go into numbers 0 through 10. And by the end of the year, our children are counting to 100. They know all their numbers and they are ready to move in to more complicated math because we've taught addition and subtraction. And it's really a wonderful time for kids to explore numbers, explore shapes, and really get a grasp of that foundational knowledge that will help propel them forward in their education. And next, I'll talk about social studies, which is really great opportunity to build not only digital citizenship in this day and age, especially when we are dealing with the situation we're dealing with now, but we also really start to explore things like learning and working better together. We look at our national symbols and state symbols, which is a really fun way for them to start exploring our country and the world around them. We also talk about work now and long ago, which is part of something I love. I love looking at that history component of how humans lived and evolved. We look at the geography of our neighborhood, and as we talked about, Springer is such a tight-knit community. I'm really looking forward to building our neighborhood together and kind of exploring what that looks like and how it relates to one another. And then also reaching out to the past or the last time. So again, kind of exploring that history component. And in kindergarten, I think the thing to take away from these subjects is really the creation of wonder and exploration, and really learning to love to wonder about the world around them and explore that together. Back over to you, Mrs. Lammy.
Thank you. I wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the specials that we have. In a typical year, we would have enrichment programs during the day that include PE, music, dance, computer science, and art. Our PE program, Noah talked a little bit about this. Our PE program includes building coordination, balance, sportsmanship, and stamina. That might be the running piece. It's 2 times a week for 30 minutes. And we also have a 12-week program of music in which students are learning basic music theory. They're exposed to different composers. They also learn several songs to perform in a spring concert. And then they have a 12-week program of dance where they learn basic dance steps like the grapevine and how to chasse and chaîné and how to boogie. And that culminates in a class demonstration where the parents get to come and witness an actual dance class, and then sometimes they even participate at the end. We have computer science with our computer science teacher who helps them learn how to do some basic coding. They use some bee-bots, which are electronic bees that they can manipulate through some coding. And at the end, it culminates in a bee-bot city that they have to maneuver the bee-bot around the city. And we have 2 art programs. We have the CSMA Art for Schools program, and then the Los Altos Art Docent programs, where students are introduced to a variety of art techniques and concepts, including lines, shapes, contour, drawing, and working with clay.
Thank you so much, teachers, for giving such a great explanation. Since we're unable to have you come onto campus, I'm going to show a little video that gives you more of a feel of Springer. So hold on, please. Springer is a wonderful school, very community oriented. We have a very experienced teaching staff that is dedicated to supporting all students.
And remember to be respectful. Have a great day.
We have an approach of recognizing the whole child. We want them to be successful academically, emotionally, socially. We want them to contribute to their community.
The teachers at Springer are wonderful, warm. They get to know each student extremely well, and they know what the student needs. They apply new lessons and new skills every year, and that hands-on learning is critical for getting the kids to really understand a concept.
It's been amazing to see the growth in our students. Their perspective and their approach to problem solving and critical thinking and their citizenship has just been amazing.
Once you solve a question, you put it back in the pile.
With our integration of the science, technology, engineering, and math focus, students are really learning how to persevere through those hard challenges, because it's not just an easy task. We want them to think critically, work collaboratively, and communicate with their peers.
Go, 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 get him, get him, get him.
All of the teachers, they do something special to make learning a lot more fun.
Cross your left foot in front.
Dance is one of our extracurricular activities.
Step together, step together, step.
To have that exercise within the school day just gets their energy going and even makes learning even better in the afternoon for us.
This glitter is glued, but if we don't present, then we're gonna be shy most of the time. Each time we present again and again, we get more confident.
When students graduate from Springer Elementary, we want them to leave here feeling prepared for the next step in their learning process. We want them to have mastered all the content standards, to have built strong relationships with their peers, and be ready emotionally and socially for those challenges of the middle school years. Give me just 1 second. Thank you. All right. So I know there's a very large elephant in the room, which is we're in the middle of a pandemic. And yes, many of the wonderful things that you've been hearing this evening is what we do during a traditional year. So I wanted to start talking a little bit about the situation that we're finding ourselves in right now, which is I'm pleased to say that the Los Altos School District, we have been in live instruction since October 12th at Springer. We are in a blended model right now where we have children coming onto campus in small cohorts 2 days a week. So we are very pleased that we're able to work with students in person, but I wanted to just share with you our continuum of instruction. There had been a point where we were 100% on campus, every day, 5 days a week. We are currently in a blended model where children are in with us at a portion of a time. And then there have been times where we have been 100% virtual. And then we also, as Brooke mentioned before, we do have a 100% virtual campus called Los Altos Virtual School. And so as many of you know, every day health orders are changing. And unfortunately, I don't have what our plan will be for the 2021-22 school year. But I would say that this continuum would still be in place as we think about the next school year and how things would go. Just to kind of delve in a little bit more about the two models, blended versus virtual. So a blended model provides students with some in-class instruction and some days at home. Currently, like I mentioned, children are with us for 2 days and then they are home 3 days. A virtual school is where they are with the classroom teacher throughout the day for 4 days, and then they have a 1 day of asynchronous learning. And this has gone very well for us in our district. We are very pleased with the progress that our students are making. And we are obviously ideally would like to come back full time, but we are following all health and safety orders. It's very important that we maintain a safe learning environment for everyone. We are working very, very hard. Our students are doing a fantastic job following all the health and safety orders. I have to say, I think our TK and kindergarten are doing the best. They are doing great, staying 6 feet apart. They all have their mask. They are hand washing and sanitizing throughout the day, and are being mindful not to touch their nose and their mouth. And they're also helping keep their classrooms clean as well. Our district is very pleased that we do offer not only to staff, but also to children if they would like to have monthly COVID testing. So we take this very, very seriously in Los Altos, and we are doing everything to follow all health and safety orders as they are given to us by the county health department. Whether you choose blended or virtual, the programs are rooted in the same instructional practices and curriculum. And Brooke mentioned earlier that she is participating in our virtual school. And so during our question and answer period, if you have some questions about the virtual school, she is our resident expert. The opportunities that we are providing children with rich learning opportunities in the core curriculum and beyond through the use of comprehensive learning plans. Our teachers are working very, very hard to create learning plans that meet the needs of our students instructionally, socially, and emotionally. So just kind of in conclusion, just wanted to share 3 quotes that have been shared with me about Springer. And I know that if you were to come onto campus and speak to any family, you would hear even more positive things. It is a wonderful neighborhood school. I love coming to work. I was sad in the spring when we were all sent home. I love being on the campus with the children, but also every Wednesday, the children and I participate in a school-wide assembly. We have about 200 children who get on the Google Meet, and we sing and we dance and we have a great time. The children share projects that they have been working on. It's a wonderful time for all of us to come together virtually each week. Kind of some next steps is officially registering your child for school. This is all done electronically, and ideally you would get this done before February 12th. And there is more information on our district. There's a wonderful media gallery, and also a very well laid out reopening plan, more about the health and safety and what we are doing to ensure that we are following all safety protocols in our district. So right now, I am pleased to open up the floor. This is an exciting time. Like I mentioned before, I have a wonderful assistant. My eldest daughter, Nora, is in the room, and she's going to help facilitate the question and answer period of our presentation this evening. So Ms. Nora, I'm not sure if there's something I need to do, or are you going to load up our first question?
So if you want to click the raise hand function, and then I can call on you.
Wonderful, thank you. I just want to let the audience know this is the first time I have done a webinar. Ms. Nora, I apologize. I actually don't see that on my screen, the raise hand feature. Would you mind popping over and helping your mom out for a second?
Yeah, only the participants can see that. So if someone has a question, they can click that.
Okay, I don't need to do anything?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I see a nice cookie in her future. She's been a big help to me tonight. What Nora is saying, if you just raise your hand, I think you have the raise hand feature, and then we can ask a question of you. And if you don't have any questions, that is fine too, no pressure. I want to just let you know that if you leave here this evening and you think of a question later, my name is the first name listed on the school website under staff directory. Please feel free to email me anytime. I have 2 daughters who have been, who are going through the public school system, and we love our acronyms. We love all this fancy jargon that we like to use. So if anything is confusing, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am more than happy to help. Nora, did you say we have a question?
I think we had one person raise their hand, but they took it down. So if you have a question.
Right. I might have to tease the crowd and say, you've got to ask me a question. I was so nervous about the Q&A and working all of this part.
Okay, we can have our first speaker. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name correctly.
Hi, I do have a couple questions actually.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. So for TK, do you mean on the Springer campus, there's only one classroom for TK student?
Yes.
And then my second question is, someone mentioned it's from TK to 8th grade. I thought that's the students will transfer to Georgiana Block Junior High.
So yes, so there is one classroom for a transitional kindergarten right now. Now maybe next school year we will have so many. We'll have 40 TKers who need to come to Springer, and I'll hire another TK teacher. But traditionally, we have had one TK classroom at Springer. And yes, the presentation, I mentioned TK through 8, that our STEM program is throughout the district, but Springer is only TK through 6th grade. Children go to Block or Egan Middle School for 7th and 8th.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. You will receive an email from me, I think tomorrow, with my email address, thanking you for coming this evening. And also an email will come from myself or our school office with more information, a letter from our superintendent, and then just some more handouts and flyers. So look for an email from me tomorrow. Nora, is there another question?
Yes, next we'll have Surjat.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this this presentation. It's very helpful. The question, we had a couple of questions from us. One, what's the typical class size at the kindergarten? And second is, as you think from the kindergarten to grade 6, is there, are we build a specialization, right? Is there a separate maths teacher or a science teacher as we go up the grade? My last question would be on just to know a little more about the after-school programs. When do the application process opens for those? That'd be helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So traditionally, a kindergarten classroom would be, I would say, between 18 and 24 students on a given year. Mrs. Lammy, if you'd like to correct me on that, but that's traditionally my experience. I was a former kindergarten teacher, and that's traditionally. Some years we have about 18, and then I've had as high as 24. So it depends on the year. You asked about specialized. All classroom teachers at Springer, we are credentialed to teach all subjects. So children do not have a separate teacher for language arts and math. You will see in 6th grade that changes a little bit, where currently we have one teacher who teaches the language arts to both 6th grade classes, and I have one teacher who teaches the math and science to both classes. But that is in 6th grade. All the other grades, TK through 5, it is the one classroom teacher who is teaching the core curriculum. We will have a different teacher doing the dance, a different teacher doing the computer science and the PE, but your core curriculum is by one classroom teacher. That is how we are credentialed in elementary school. After school programs. I'm just going to act like it's a traditional year where we have a lot of offerings throughout the year. I will be honest, not everything is available for kindergarten, but I would say that we are doing our best to increase that every year, those opportunities. Like I mentioned, I am a mom, I have 2 children, and I really believe in those enrichment opportunities are so valuable for our children. And so I am committed to continue to build those after school enrichment opportunities for children. So I recommend checking out the Springer website. I believe it's maybe right in the middle, it might say after school activities, after school enrichment, and you can kind of see some of the offerings that we have had in the past.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next we'll have Daphne.
Thank you. Daphne?
Hi, Daphne's my wife. My name's Jonathan.
Hello.
Thanks for taking the time to do all this. My question is about the school district and all the elementary schools within it. I mean, it's an amazing school district. And relative to that, then what makes Springer special versus all the other elementary schools? Are they all the same, or is there something unique about Springer compared to all the other elementary schools in the district?
Well, that's a hard question. You know, I think we're extra special at Springer. I think the sense of community is really felt as soon as you walk onto the campus. We have parents who are alumni. I have staff who are students at Springer. Um, it's just the feel when you're on campus. Not to speak ill of my colleagues and their schools, they are wonderful too. But there is something to be said about being able to be in your neighborhood school. While my own daughters did not have the pleasure of going to Springer, they did attend our neighborhood elementary school. And I believe Brooke mentioned that ability to walk through the neighborhood and you know, oh, I know them and I know them and I know them is so powerful. Also, I would say that Springer, we are always working on improving as educators and always trying to further ourselves professionally. Each one of our teachers is eager to go to a conference or a workshop or listen to a webinar. I really feel this sense of a desire to improve and to grow professionally. And that is what fuels me every day. I also, the students, they are just wonderful. Um, you know, sometimes principals, we have to get on our kind of our mean voice, you know, and be the disciplinarian. That is like a small part of my job because the children are just so fantastic. They get along, they know how to problem solve. It's just joyful to be with them. And even when we went virtual, seeing them through the screen, I mean, they are just so full of life and loving to learn, and they love their teacher. It's just a great place. I wish you guys could come and tour our campus, and you would feel it. So I encourage you to come tomorrow if Springer is your neighborhood school and you'd like to hang a sign, and you can meet me in person and my PTA president, and maybe just get a feel for who we are as a campus.
Yeah, thanks for that. The way you describe it, I mean, we have gone around. We're actually, I think, fortunate in that we're located right between three schools within the district, and we've gone and walked all of them, being new to the neighborhood, and the way that you speak about the community aspect of the schools, I mean, I think it's reflected even in an empty campus just by walking through the Springer campus. It really has a different feel to it, which is, I think, something special. So thanks for that.
Yes, and I will share with you, kind of shortly after we were put in the lockdown in March, I decided, like, you know what, during this time when there are children not on campus, what can we do to beautify our campus? Because we often can't do that because we don't want the children to, have to step over a shovel or a wheelbarrow and things like that. So we have had a very large campaign to beautify our campus. I have 3 parents right now investigating getting us a new kindergarten playhouse and working on that. We have been working on the classroom garden beds. And in January, we're going to start working on our school garden. And our wonderful PTA is partnering with the Girls Softball League. And we are talking about putting not a cement track, but, I'm thinking like a gray fine, like the small rock, a really nice track around our grass area. So we are continuing to try to beautify our campus, even during this, crazy time that we're in.
Oh, that's great. It's so lovely already, but that's and it'll give all the kids a welcome surprise when they get back.
Exactly. And our community too is really recognizing that this is a community-based school, and that if you are, live in the neighborhood, you can benefit as well. Nice meeting you
Thanks so
tonight.
much. Thank you.
Please, can I just add to that quickly?
Please.
I have a chance to talk to the other PTAs from the other schools pretty often, and so I get a bit of a sense about what's going on in their communities as well. And one of the things that I've heard, not just this year, but every year is that they have increasingly harder time finding parents to really be engaged, finding families and communities to really be engaged in their overall school community. And that's something that I haven't found that we really have problems with at Springer. We have a very engaged parent community, and I think that's a real differentiator, in the feel for the school, but also just the way the success of the kids, I think, also is really benefited by how engaged all the parents are. I mentioned that I went to school here in this district. I went to what's now Gardner Bullis. That it was, is a neighborhood school in a sense, but is not a walking distance school in any sense. It's so much different being at Springer, where most of the families, I think, walk to school in the morning. You can walk down the street, and you see Springer Strong yard signs in every yard. That's something that I don't think you see it a lot at most of the other schools.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brandon. Those signs are definitely something we noticed when we walked the neighborhood with my young boys. Like, why there's so many Springer Strong signs around? And I just told them it's school pride. Okay, this is a great school pride school. So appreciate it. Thanks for your thoughts.
Thank you.
Can I add one additional thing?
Sure.
I don't, you asked, right? Like what sets Springer apart from everyone else. So we're going to give it all to you.
Yes, please.
I feel like if you think about the LASD school districts, an amazing district. My husband and I bought our house when we did, where we did, because we wanted to raise our children here. But when you look at, and Brandon touched on this earlier, I think that Springer's the smallest, area on that map. Which means that we all live really close to the school, and it may not always be walking distance depending on what the skies are doing, but it's definitely always biking distance. And you can't say that for many of the other LASD schools, at least the elementary schools. The middle school kids can bike a little bit further distance. But I think even more so, if you look at that map, Springer's right in the middle of it. So we're right in the heart of this district. We aren't on the edge. We're like right in the middle of it, and it's very small, and it's almost like this little thing in the center that is just where all the goodness happens. So I encourage you to come to Springer, and if I'm wrong, I owe you a drink or a dinner.
Thanks, Brooke. I appreciate that. The ham is always the best part of the sandwich.
I also have one other thing to add too. We haven't talked at all about kids with special needs, but both of my kids have autism. And so my daughter in particular, who was in kindergarten, in Mrs. Lammy's class, one day she wandered off, and all these parents, all I just needed to say was, Emma did not make it back to the classroom, and 9 parents scattered the campus. One went to the office, one went over there. They knew where she'd like to be. They knew about her, and they took the time out of their morning to make sure we found her. Of course, she was not anywhere. She was just hiding. But I mean, I felt so supported in that moment that all these parents just dropped everything. And if my daughter's out on the playground, there's 3 parents who are making sure she's watched and that they're looking out for her. And so, one afternoon again, my daughter couldn't see me, and another parent who knew me, her kids are in 6th grade that year, and she came and found me and was just like, hey, Emma's looking for you, and she's really nervous. She wouldn't come with me. She's right over here. And I mean, just the amount that parents look out for each other, and they all care about everyone's kid. My son also really struggled in 1st grade, and he's doing great now in 3rd grade. And I have parents telling me, Nate, talk to me. And he's, chatting with me, and they're just so proud of him. And it's just so amazing to have other parents who are just as excited about my kids' milestones as I am.
That's awesome. Thanks so much.
Nora, did you have any other questions?
I think that's it.
Well, thank you, everyone. I so appreciate you coming this evening. This presentation will be posted on our website. So if you missed any part of it or you hear families weren't able to attend, we will have the recording. I would just like to personally thank all of my wonderful attendees who came to help me tonight. Thank you for bragging about Springer. It just makes me very proud to hear all these wonderful things, and I feel the same. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Again, you can always send me an email if you have any questions. Have a good night. Thank you.
Hey, Denise, before we go, I don't mean to interrupt, but hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed, all the stars align and all the science happens when the world normalizes next year. We would love to again host kindergarten play dates through the summer. So that your children have a chance to meet the children they're going to be in the classroom with. You'll have a chance to meet the parents that you'll be partnering with and be creating this community with. And you'll get a chance at some point to meet the teachers and the administration as well. So once you've completed your paperwork with the district, then you become the new families people and the PTA's people. You become part of the crew. And hopefully we'll be able to welcome you in all of the normal ways next year.
Thank you so much, Brooke. And don't forget to come get your lawn signed tomorrow between 2 and 3 o'clock. If that time doesn't work, just send me a note and I can set up a time to give you one out in the driveway loop. Have a nice evening. Thank you, everyone.